Hey guys, it's another Hot Mess Sunday coming at you for the What Would You Make collaboration. We will get a little bit more into that here later. Here comes, many of you requested, a Woodland Decor Part 2. More about those beautiful ladies up there in the corner here in just a few fabulous minutes here. We're to another hot mess of a disaster, and here we go. So I got 2 wood pieces from the Dollar Tree. You see I made that little wreath thingy there. I bought that for $1 of all those rolls of already cut up meshy stuff. And I was going to make me this big wreath kind of thing, but yeah, that didn't work out. Changed my mind. And all I did was kind of roll it and scrunch it up. And then I've got these wooden rings. This is a smaller one. The one I'm going to use is a bigger one, but I was just kind of showing y'all how I did this. You just make the loop, make the knot, thread it through, boom, there you go. Okay, so just showed you that. I got a wood round from Dollar Tree, a snowflake from Dollar Tree, and that beautiful, beautiful napkin either came from Katie at Red Crafting. I'm losing it right now. It's late, guys. Or it came from my May with Craft Away with May. So, Lady Red Crafting. That's Katie at Lady Red Crafting. It came from one of those 2 beautiful ladies. Anywho, I'm going to take some burnt umber here and water it down. That is not Dawn, I promise. It's water. And wiped it down with a wipey. I like the wood grain on one side better than the other side. So, yep, like that side better. And going to leave my holes because we will need those. And then that is going to go on top of the wood round there. It's just to give it some backing to make it more sturdy. Now, you might have saw that I had the white to paint the snowflake. Changed my mind, wanted to go with plaster. I did fill the hole in where the hanger was on that. And so that's all good. Gonna let it dry. Taking this beautiful napkin here and taking my little water pen. I got it at Dollar Tree. And just using my water pen to kind of get that pulled out. There's 4 separate pictures on there. Yeah, this just kind of, if you guys ever watched decoupaging, you guys probably know more than I do. Anyway, this turned out to be a hot mess disaster. I'm surprised I even got anything in this video to begin with. But anyway, you don't want the straight line edges. You kind of want it to look rough and kind of grungy. Well, okay, here's part of problem 553. I thought there was only that 1 extra ply to get off. Well, later, we imagine this words. I go to Mod Podge this thing on, and I'll be darned if there wasn't another ply that I needed to pull off. I rubbed it, I touched it, I tried to make sure it was okay. No, of course not. Anyway, we're going to use my Mod Podge here and a fan brush, and we're going to get this on. And of course, there was care in it. Is that any surprise to anybody? Yeah, okay. So once I get the Mod Podge kind of spread around on my painted snowflake, and I did paint both sides of it, and I went with the prettier side, of course. And I lay my beautiful napkin on there, and I start kind of spreading it out, and there was still wet in a couple places, and I just thought, oh, okay, that's kind of blended in a little more. I was going to try the whole fancy paint thing with the blues and the grays and kind of make it all blend, and yeah, by the time I got, no, it wasn't happening. No, and see, that finger's been in urgent care, and we ain't even want to talk about it, especially if you hadn't had your supper yet. Okay, so anywho, this is about the time when I'm getting these corners, I realized there was another ply that needed to come off. So this gets all wrinkly, messed up. I needed to iron it. It just, oh boy, y'all. Okay, so since I decided there's no way that I'm going to get this painted because of everything else already a disaster, not even 5 minutes into this thing, that I'm just going to make like this little wreath kind of around the napkin right here, okay? So I'm going to take just some picks from the Dollar Tree that I've had in my stash, and we're just going to glue these on, and I'm going to take 4 of these pieces, and we're just going to kind of glue 1 in each corner. I did go ahead and Mod Podge the whole snowflake, by the way, with a mat, because you know I don't like things shiny. I use my glossy stuff to get things to stick down, and then I use my mat to coat everything. And again, that's what I realized, wow, I pretty much ruined this napkin. So we're going to have to do something else with that napkin. since there's 3 more pictures left because I butchered this one bad. Anyway, so I'm trying to fix it. So got some more greenery. This is a little bit darker of a green with less kind of snowy floofy on it. And I'm going to kind of put that where all those guys met to fill those little middles in right there. Just like that. Bye-bye. There we go. See, not looking too bad. Okay, except for the napkin. Don't look at that. And then I love this stuff. This is some good stuff Dollar Tree did come out with. I've had this in my stash for about a year or two. I love this branch snowflakey stuff. I think it's Willow is what it was called. I'm just going to randomly just kind of put some glue on the end of this and just kind of stick these in here and there. So basically what we're making is a wreath, but a square wreath around the napkin. Anywho, and needed some berries because what I was pointing to there is that there's berries in the bush at the bottom of the angel's feet right there. So I thought, okay, we need some berries in it. Well, of course, when you pop them off, they're styrofoam. They got the white or whatever they're made out of. So I got my red paint marker to paint them. Yes, this was a disaster, guys. Like, I'm dropping them. The tweezers are not working out well for me. Look at this. And then watch. I'll get the hot, like I can't even get a hold of it. And then when I do get a hold of it, I hot glue it and drop it on my napkin. So yeah, anyway, and then I rub it and then it rubs the napkin off. This was like realization number 5 that, wow, there's another ply under that napkin. Anyway, I managed to get those berries on there. Oh boy, okay. All right, so now what's going to happen is we're going to put our snowflake on top. Bet y'all thought we're putting it, underneath, huh? Nope, on top. Okay, and so we're just going to put the hot glue just kind of in the midst of, I put way too much hot glue because all that I just went all the way around with, that didn't even touch that inner ring in there. Anyway, I pressed down on this pretty good and held it for a while. And you can see like I missed every bit of that. So I just go back in with my hot glue gun and sorry, my head, you can't see nothing right now. And just where I wanted to say petals of the snowflake. Yeah, that's not happening. The legs of the snowflake, I don't even know, y'all. It's stuck on there pretty good. Okay, now, before we because that was another mistake I almost made, is I almost glued this wood round onto the back, and I thought, whoa, wait, no, we've got to get our hanger on first. So I just get a piece of jute and I put it through the hole, tied in a knot, and I like to set things on fire. And here I go. I almost did it again. I almost tied that on, and I remembered, no, wait, I want to put some beads on. Whew, boy, I'm telling you guys, it has been a week. It has been a week. Oh, my. Okay. Anyway, this is just stemming off from the gingerbread walrus manatee flipper guy I made a week ago. Okay, yeah, you haven't seen that. You got to check that out. Boy. All right, so I decided to go for the kind of darker big beads. Yep, there we go, setting things on fire. Even came after you guys with that one. And so I'm going to take the big brown darker ones and then 2 smaller white ones. So I just kind of went with the dark to kind of go with the deer and everything that was in the napkin, and then the white to go with the snow. And I made it I put 2 big beads together at the top, so when you hang it, you've got the same on each side. Now, to adjust my jute and how long I want it, I kind of put my snowflake back there on top so I could see exactly how I wanted it to go. I'm just knotting this. Look, knotted that thing twice and didn't do it in the same place, so I had to knot it a 3rd time so that it doesn't go back through. And then what I'm going to do is snip this off and set it on fire again. And I'm going to take my hot glue and put a little bit of glue in there, and then I'm going to pull that string back through so that hot glue attaches to the wood so that the string and jute isn't coming back and forth through the holes. Anyway, I do it with the beads too later so that they're not flying all over. Okay, so I'm just trying to line this up, making sure everything is good. So that round in the back was just pretty much to give it a good backer. But then I also wanted to get some other greenery in there. You'll see here in just a second. So now this, I was good to go on this. I just put some hot glue all the way around that wooden ring there. And I tried to make sure my petals, legs, I don't know, on the snowflake were where they were supposed to be. Up, down, side to side. Floof it all out. And now I've decided, okay, so I got one of these rings from, yeah, that place. Yeah, Hobby Lobby, where everything's 50% off. Got this idea from Brenda. Thank you, Miss Brenda, which is one of our beautiful hosts with Rustic and Lace DIY. You go buy these things and you pull them apart, and it's a lot cheaper than buying the sticks of greenery and stuff. Get it out. And I've got like 3 or 4 different kinds of these things. I'm going to have to go get me some more too. You can see I'm having trouble trying to pull it apart. So anyway, I'm seeing if this is how I want it. And you kind of put it in between. You were calling them petals, okay, from this point on, guys. So I'm just taking these big pieces of pine greenery and I'm kind of sticking it in between the petals of the snowflakes there. See? And I'm going to go all the way around. I'm kind of making sure my white tooly stuff is out of the way so that stays all floofy, and I just kind of tucked it up underneath that. Now, I got that done, and I didn't show you, but you'll see in a minute. And now I'm showing you where I'm kind of putting some glue up in the bead there so that the beads aren't sliding down behind the wood round. They are going to stay put, okay? Now, I'm sure if you got too rough with it, it would, you know, they'd pop off and go. But this way, they're staying above the wood round. They're not sliding around, but you still got enough little give there to hang it up however you want. But there it is. Not too bad, not too shabby. Let me know what you think. I'm glad you don't get a close-up view of the napkin because that would be bad. Okay, now, here's one thing, guys. So I had this little sprig in my stash that had some pine, some berries, some pine cones, and this cute little bird. Well, in the napkin, the angel, she's looking up at a little bird in the corner. You guys need to let me know, bird or no bird? Bleh, bleh, bleh. Bird or no bird? Because that's the same kind of bird she's kind of looking at in the napkin. You could barely see it. Welcome to the What Would You Make collaboration, guys, where we have got to make some stuff with wood. We got Brenda, Christine, and Miss Lavender and Lace. You guys check out their channel links in my description box, as well as the playlist link to all the beautiful ladies that are here. All those ladies that are host and our guest host, Lavender and Lace, those ladies are amazing. To DIY number 2. Since I can't keep up with myself and talk. But we all knew that anyway. So those cute 2 little critters I got from the Target dollar spot, or whatever they call their little thing. And then the sled, of course, came from Dollar Tree. This piece of wood I had from last year. My friend Shelly gave it to me. Thank you, Shelly. And I had used it, glued a bunch of stuff onto it, and I ripped it all off because it was terrible. It was horrible. And anyway, we're going to repainted it with the white, and now we're going to take our sled, and I'm going to paint the like rails of the sled with the black, and I'm going to antique wax the top part. That would be the wood part of the sled. The gold bows on the bear and the deer are going to go. These little guys are made out of wood, I think. Yeah. Anyway, and then I got this pair of skis in the Target dollar spot thingy, and they were only $1. So I thought, okay, this is going to be a cute idea. Okay, so I'm getting all this jute off, right? And these little things, the little poles that you shove into the ground to get yourself to go, that was just popped on there with a pointy metal thingy. Yeah, okay. And guys, I can't talk tonight. I'm like lost. Lord, boy, it has been a week. Man, okay, so the skis were just glued together. Okay, my Moose Man lovers, y'all love it up, love it up. Subscribe for the Moose Man. Guys, I'm seeing I have got like, 70% are watching but not subscribed. Come on, subscribe, y'all, subscribe. And hype this up, hype it up for the moose. The moose needs to eat. I mean, you see how skinny he is? Yes, and look, it's so hard helping mama because you get all dirty. I mean, oh my goodness. Oh, I've missed half of this. Y'all can watch. Anyway, y'all here for the Moose Man anyway. And the crazy shenanigans that I put y'all through. So we're going to take those skis, and I'm going to use the lacquer color because it is a deeper kind of red in my opinion. And I use the same brush that I used to put the antique wax onto the sled. And I didn't even rinse it out. So it already kind of gave it that brownish, rusty color. Anyway, And now I've jumped to bells, and I've got these red bells right here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of Mod Podge on them. And then once I kind of get them coated with the Mod Podge, I'm going to put some cinnamon here in a cup and throw those bells into the cup. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. And there we got some rusty, crusty cinnamon bells. Now the silver little bells, silver bells, I'm going to take my burnt umber, and I was going to paint them, and then the Mod Podge, and please ask me, I have no idea why I didn't just put the burnt umber on the Mod Podge and mix it up. Please don't ask, because I don't know. Okay, so because I wanted to give those like a darker color. It's not like you can tell when I'm done, because they all look like brown cinnamon. But if you get up close, you can see the red peeking through the little red bells. And then these guys look brown. You don't see too much silver. But anyway, yeah, I'm just playing, because I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, I'm just giving them some cinnamon, and it smelled good. So I let those guys dry overnight. Nope, did not waste a bit of that cinnamon. That cinnamon that's left in the cup went right back into the jar. Now here's the ribbon we're going to use to string on our jingle bells. If you had a good enough needle that you could string through the bell, it would work great. But the red bells were not letting me put my needle through, so I just had to kind of get that through. Doesn't this look beautiful on the moose? Doesn't it though? Okay, so I got all my bells on. Here's our little, we'll call it a platter. We got petals and platters, guys. Okay, now Moose Man is threatened by this deer right here. Y'all, I had to leave this in here. I'm trying to get the skis glued onto the bottom of the reindeer. The reindeer's going to be on skis, okay? Moose was not having it. Look, he's eating it. He's smacking at it. He's chewing on it. We had to take a time out. Anyway, but I guess it was a good thing, because I forgot that I wanted to kind of like sand down the edges of the skis and kind of rusty them up, because me and my grungy, rusty, crusty, right? Okay, so we finally, after 30 minutes, get the little deer's skis glued on. Goodness. Okay, so now these are going to be the reins of the deer that connect to the sled, because I never said that, and y'all just thought I was rusty and crusty and some bells and playing with deers and polar bears. And yeah, anyway, so we're going to put them back through the holes of the sled there. And now what I have to do is I kind of have to measure, because I just cut off a big piece of ribbon here, right? And so I'm having to measure, and it's like way too long. And yeah, Moose has come back. He's come back for seconds. I don't know. This reindeer's giving him a what for. So I realized I got to shorten this up a little bit and pull it in. And then I'm just going to tie a double knot on the end of each of these on the outside of the ski rings here. I don't know, guys. I have no vocabulary tonight. I am so sorry. But what else is new, right? Okay. So yeah, anyway, if you're liking this, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down, because it doesn't make me any difference. I mean, because it's all attention to the video. Make my little channel grow. Guys, I'm at like almost like 100. I'm at 1,175 subbies. I want to get to 1,200 subbies by the end of the year. I could do this. That's only like 30 more subscribers. Share it with your friends, everybody. Hype it up. Share it for the moose. To the cat lovers unite. Anyway, I'm gluing the little reins on the front of the deer here. And then I also kind of glued just that first bell on the side of his neck on both sides. There we go. Then he needed a little haircut trim, because there was some glue left over from where that gold bow was on there earlier, right? Yep. And I'm again going to put glue here, just like I did with the snowflake wood round, so that this isn't sliding all over the place. We'll cut those off, and you know me, we're going to set things on fire. Kaboom, kaboom. All right, so there we go. So I got that all shortened up, and then I decided, okay, it was still kind of hanging, so I decided to take the ribbon and then also glue it to the top of his back legs there, just to kind of, keep things kind of in line. And yes, it took me forever to adjust those bells how I wanted them, because they had to be mirror image on both sides. Yeah, I'm that loony of a tune. So, anywho, okay. And it probably still isn't right, but that's okay. All right, now finally back to, I kept pulling this out and then I'd always go do something else. I was so back and forth on this. Okay, then it took me 20 minutes to figure out how I wanted to put Mr. Bear on here. But I finally decided we're going to put him kind of sideways. Look, I'm going to pat my bear. Now, I gave him a little bow with that same ribbon that I have on the deer there. Now we're going to get everybody glued down to the wooden plank here. Yes, okay. I'm just doing this for video purposes. You guys make sure you use like some Tite Bond or some wood glue. But Mama here was in a hurry because, it's like I said, been a week. Had Thrifted Thursday go out Thursday. And before then and after then, trip to urgent cares because, it was Moose's fault too. But I'm not going to go into detail. Just, it explains the Band-Aid on my finger. Anyway, we're going to add just some little embellishments here. You can see I got 2 trees from the Dollar Tree, but those have been in my stash. I've repurposed them several times. I am not gluing the trees down. I'm just going to set them on there because I might want to use them for something else. And those little presents came in a big package from Hobby Lobby, 50% off. I'm just using the red and the green to go with, their little red and green bows. Now, it was too empty in the front, so I got this wooden believe that came from Dollar Tree in my stash. And I'm going to antique wax it up. You see 2 of the little cubes from the Dollar Tree because I was going to use that to prop this sign up because I want it angled. I don't want it straight up and down. But they were too big. So anyway, I figured it out. So anyway, after I get the antique wax on, I then wipe it off a little bit and then I put a little bit more back on. You guys, if you've watched me before, I put it on, I take it off, I put it on, I take it off, I put it on, I take it off. Anyway, so it ended up, I did not need to use the cubes. I was able to put some hot glue on there and I was able to angle it and it stood up by itself for now. Now, if Moose gets a hold of it later, that might be another story. Anywho, we're just going to put a little touching up on this. We're going to take some of this snow text that I'm not very fond of, but it does add a little bit of whimsy to it here. And so I'm just putting it on the top of our believe. I'm putting it on the ends of his skis. We'll put it on the end of Mr. Bear's sled. And then I go kind of silly and we're going to put it on their ears. And we're going to put it on his antlers. And I'm going to put some at the front of his sled. And I thought about, I've got all that flaky snow and all that fluffy messy stuff, and I was going to put it on the bottom, of the wood piece there, but then I decided, yeah, you know what? No, I ain't making all that mess. This probably is not going to stay together. I just thought, see, my trees aren't glued down, but I don't want them glued down. Okay, so that's why they keep falling off. But anyway, I'm probably going to take this apart. Now, the deer and the bear, they'll probably stay together, but staying on the slice of wood, I doubt that'll happen. Anyway, guys, here's your final review. So here is our beautiful snowflake with petals and our destroyed napkin that I totally like. Yeah, anyway, but didn't turn out too bad, but from using the Goodwill Thule scraps and, just this was all in my stash basically, guys. And thank you either May or Katie for that napkin. I can't remember which one. Both of you have sent me napkins, but anyway, you can see I tried to put some of that snow text on the bottom, but I just didn't like it. It was just too much. But anyway, isn't the bear the cutest little thing? Isn't he cute? He's so cute. And then there's our deer, and he is pulling the sleigh for Mr. Bear. Oh, he's so cute. So, guys, remember, this was part 2 of Woodland because you guys had requested part 2. I know I only did 2 things here, and maybe not too much Woodland with the snowflake except for the deer that's in the picture. But if you missed part 1, I will link that here. But in part 1 were these cute little tumbling tower block ornaments I made. And this little cardinal on the birdhouse made with pine cones for the roof. And the little box from the Dollar Tree down there. See there, see there. And then this beautiful little thing here. That was a bag from the Dollar Tree. The antlers from Walmart. I made all that in the first Woodland Part 1. If you see some other things here, that was from Thrifted Thursday the other day. Go check it out. Thank you guys for being here. I know this wasn't much, but it's all I could do, and I appreciate y'all stopping by, watching the shenanigans. Thank you so much for all the love on the gingerbread video. Mr. Manatee will remain for life. Oh, yes, with the little flippers. You guys like, subscribe, check out the playlist, check out the description box. I love you guys so much.